Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Niall O'Connor. We have just seen Liam Davies become the first man to defeat Kurt Walker in Nottingham tonight. Niall, good to be joined by you. Second fight of the main card tonight, another good fight. Please give us your instant reaction. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, as you were just saying there, good night of action so far. I thought that was a very, very good performance from Liam Davis. Very accomplished, very disciplined from the start. I was looking forward to this fight. Probably this and the main event were the fights I was looking forward to the most. I thought it'd be a big test for Liam Davis, and he fought so disciplined from the start, from the very first bell. He just asserted his size, his kind of physicality. I know he's coming up. He's coming up from super bantamweight, but he is a big man. He was a big man at super bantamweight. So yeah, he took the center of the ring, dictated the pace from the start, asserted his physicality. His kind of his boxing IQ, his power, solid jab, great jab. Yeah, great combination punching, and he forced Kurt Walker then for a lot of that fight to kind of take the fight to him. Get up close in the pocket and fight him up close in a bit of a firefight, but Kurt Walker didn't have the power to live with him up there, up close. So. Yeah, I just thought it was a very, very good performance from Liam Davis and a deserved wide winner in my opinion.
Yeah, and you've said wide winner, which brings me on to my next question, just on the scorecards. 117, 11, 115, 113, 116, 112. Unanimous to Liam Davis. I don't think anyone could have had Liam Davis not winning that fight, but 115, 113. Just thoughts on that one now. Is that fair? Is that way too close? Give us your thoughts on that scorecard, please.
My opinion, watching it, it was too close. I thought that was a bit too close. I had it 117, 111. Like the one judge, maybe the kindest you could have got, in my opinion, was 116, 112 to Walker, as the other judge had it. I didn't see where Walker kind of got the better of Liam Davis anywhere in that fight at range. Davis kind of outboxed him, outproed him really. The kind of the amateur style of Walker, he out hustled him for most of that fight. And then, as I said earlier, when Walker was forced to take the fight to Davis, Davis was just too strong and too versatile for him. So yeah, there was a couple of close rounds, a few close rounds. I can't see where Walker kind of got the better of Liam Davis in any facet. So yeah, 115, 113 was a bit close for me, but yeah, lucky the scorecards weren't too kind of controversial in the grand scheme of things and didn't affect too much.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think most people would say it was that one scorecard was just a bit too close. And look, we're boxing fans at the end of the day, and boxing fans aren't boxing fans if you aren't willing to have a little moan about a dodgy scorecard, but they're fully justified in my opinion. What can give me your thoughts on Kurt Walker now, because this was only his 13th fight. Um, Apart, he had kind of that close fight against Leon Woodstock earlier this year. He's gone straight into another, a more competitive fight, a tougher fight than that. But give us your thoughts on what he can come back and do here, because credit to him for taking the fight. He's not been kind of completely outclassed here or kind of schooled throughout the round. It's his first time doing 12 rounds. He's only done 10 completed 10 rounds once. What can he achieve in the sport of the next couple of years, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Really, we see it kind of with these kind of amateur standouts that don't normally kind of excel in the pro game. They lack the kind of the professional kind of nous to deal with being a professional. But Walker, the talent is there undoubtedly. Boxing wise, he's probably in terms of boxing IQ the most talented kind of male fighter that Ireland have at the minute. You know, just lacks the power. The power is his big letdown. As I say, he couldn't put a dent in Liam Davis tonight, either up close or at range. But he is a fantastic boxer with quick hands. I never really expected him to win a world title, to be honest. I don't know if a lot of people would have expected him to win a world title. And there's no shame now in losing to Liam Davis, but he's not young. He's 30. He's kind of in his prime now. He's not a young man coming up. Maybe if you kind of look at a European, could he work his way back to a European title? I know that's kind of tied up at the minute with Lorente and Michael Conlan as well. Josh Warrington as well, of course. Does he win any of those three fights? I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but they're fights that he could take. There's Collins and McGregor. I wouldn't really favour him there either, but yeah, I think European title is maybe a ceiling at the professional level. Liam Davis, he kind of proved tonight. I don't think he beats the likes of a Liam Davis on any given night, really. But I think maybe one more crack at a European title, and that's about as high as he goes for me.
Yeah, we'll see. I think a funny kind of thing about this fight was actually Kurt Walker is older than Liam Davis, despite the fact that Liam Davis has been pro longer, had more fights, achieved more, not by a lot, but he is actually younger than Kurt Walker. Credit to Kurt Walker because a lot of people wouldn't have taken this fight, and he's clearly a good fighter. And I just think it's worth remembering this is his first fight at 12 rounds, his first fight with against somebody who's kind of above English title level, I would say as well. And it's one of those where he didn't win, but I don't think he's done badly. On Liam Davis now, is he world level? Is he a top 10 featherweight in your opinion? He was kind of on the cusp of fighting for a world title, but super bantamweight sounded like he was going to be an opponent for Naoya Inoue at one stage. Um, in my opinion, look, he was at that weight for too long, and this move up to featherweight was overdue. But yeah, do you consider him to be a top 10 featherweight?
Absolutely, I do. I've always been a fan of Liam Davis. I think he's a really beautiful boxer to watch. So kind of crisp, technically, quick hands, good power. And as you say, he was big at super bantamweight. So I think featherweight is going to suit him now, down to the ground. I think he'll fill out really well there. He proved tonight in what was, a big test for him against an unbeaten fighter, coming back from a loss against Masood. No shame in that. Masood, a quality operator in his own right, and it was a close enough fight. But yeah, I just think Davis's versatility and his power and his speed definitely makes him a threat at world level now, especially at 126. You know, you said it yourself. It's not long ago we were talking about him possibly fighting Inoue. That's the
Mm.
kind of level he was talked about at. So yeah, I think he really is a world level fighter, and I think if he was to fight for world titles and he was at his best, I definitely think he could possibly pick up a world title. I really do. I'm a big Liam Davis fan.
Yeah, look, and people were super high on him before the Shabazz Masood fight. Let's not forget that. So I just, in my opinion, just because he's lost one fight, don't don't let your opinion of him kind of disappear. And I think that's maybe happened. I think there's maybe a bit of fickleness going amongst some boxing fans. Liam Davis is still a very good fighter, and there's a lot to come. Final question from me now before I let you go. The best two featherweights that UK has to offer are Liam Davis and Nick Ball. There's other good featherweights as well, Nathaniel Collins, Lee McGregor, but those are the best two. Nick Ball is the world champion. We don't know what Nick Ball's doing next. I know he wants the Inoue fight. It sounds like the Inoue fight could happen next year, but just for fun, who would win that fight in your opinion? Nick Ball, all action, big punt, big KO percentage. Liam Davis, as we've been singing his praises the last 10 minutes or so, who would win that fight? If that fight happened next, who would win in your opinion?
It's a great fight, fascinating clash of styles, and I don't think it's outrageous to say Liam Davis could beat Nick Ball. I really don't. His boxing kind of, his technical ability and his hand speed, I think could. maybe highlight some limitations in Nick Ball's game. I really do. But it's a really fascinating styles clash. We seen Walker get up close tonight. I know he didn't have the power to kind of put a dent in Davis, but he got up close in the pocket. And if Nick Ball gets in at that range, it's a whole different story. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if Liam Davis beat Nick Ball. It really wouldn't. But I'm gonna have to edge Ball if it was to happen next purely on world level experience. The Ray Ford fights,
Mm.
the Vargas fights. I just think that would edge him. But I think it'd be a very interesting fight. I'd go Nick Ball by decision, but I'd love to see that fight, and it'd be huge domestically in the UK as well.
Yeah, as honest as ever. Niall, good to be joined by you as always. I'll let you go and enjoy the rest of what's been a good night of boxing in Nottingham. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, take care.